What a time. What a time. In America, in Japan, what a time. What a time. My gosh. I I don't want to be the humanoid embodiment of the squid right now. I just want to be the squid. Sploosh. Here we go. That's my magical anime girl transformation. I want to talk about some cool stuff I've seen here in Okinawa. I can't quite talk about what I'm working on at Okinawa because I'm supposed to publish a paper before I put it online. If I made a YouTube video about what I was working on, someone else would make a paper about it. But interesting stuff here at Okinawa. For example, check out all the friends I made at the Okinawa Tsurami Aquarium. This big squid is Sally, this little squid is Larry, and this medium squid, that's me, Ted. Hi. For some reason, workers at Tsurami didn't let me into the big aquarium to play with Jinta, the whale shark, but at least I got to see him. You know, looking through an aquarium might be a good chance to talk about one of my most popular and most controversial video essays. The one about the book Why Fish Don't Exist by Lulu Miller. This book describes how, in a scientific evolutionary sense, using the word fish for all of these unrelated species is like using the word bird for all these unrelated species. Some parts of that video essay, I don't entirely agree with myself anymore. Or maybe I would at least phrase it differently nowadays. But I got a few comments disagreeing with the video way more than I do. This one I really like. It ends with a dare to Google mountain chickens, which are actually frogs. Mountain chickens, they're frogs. Language uses all sorts of words for all sorts of stuff. That's one reason it's important to keep track of where science ends and culture begins. I wonder how this commenter would interact with this commenter. I don't think you can find this comment on the video anymore. YouTube emailed me about it, but it wasn't there when I checked the comment section. Maybe they deleted their own comment, or maybe YouTube deleted it for them. But the commenter seemed very unhappy that I added genders to the list of things like planets, or continents, or senses, the definitions of which are blurry and tend to change over time. I don't know. To me, gender seems like the most fragile item on that list. Some people say your gender is objectively chosen for you by your chromosomes. XX is female, XY is male. But the same people tend to say stuff like it's emasculine to touch your own face. I can touch my face, see? So can you, regardless of whatever chromosomes you've got. To pretend chromosomes decide whether or not you can touch your face, or if you wear skirts or jeans, or what pronouns you're allowed to use, that's losing track of where science ends and culture begins. And trying to make culture like an understanding or misunderstanding of science, that's making a religion called science, and that ain't science, that's just nonsense. It's like, how was your horoscope this morning? You know, horoscopes, they're all about planets in orbits. You know, it's all science, it's the history of science. So if you're born a Scorpio, you'll always be a Scorpio. And that means you've got to check your horoscope every morning and act in a certain way, just like XX chromosomes are supposed to wear pink and stay in the kitchen. It's science, it's science, it's science. You disagree? Well, I guess that's probably because you're just a Pisces.
In the last 2,000 years, the Earth has wobbled like a top. So now on my birthday, the sun rises in Scorpio, not Sagittarius. See, astrologers are off one full sign. In 2,000 more years, they'll be off 2 signs. But they don't seem to care.
You know, chromosomes are actually a little more complicated than you might know. Different animals have different sexual chromosome combinations than humans do. And even humans sometimes have irregular sex chromosomes, like XYY, or XXY, or XXX. There's a story in my college. A professor was asked about these irregular chromosomes, and on the projector, he Googled XXX girls. He lost track of what science thinks of XXX girls and what culture thinks of XXX girls.
So, in these reflective moments, I ask myself, am I a fun-loving Sagittarius or a sexy Scorpio?
Okay, I'm very far off track. Look at the fishies. Yeah, lots of fishies around Okinawa. Besides fishies at the aquarium, I visited Murasaki Mura, a recreation of a historical town, where I learned about shisa. Shisa are everywhere in Okinawa. They're also called lion dogs. If Wikipedia is to be believed, shisa statues are based on guardian lion statues from China, just like komainu statues in mainland Japan. Okinawa and the native Ryukyuan people tend to be caught between China and mainland Japan, and also caught between America and mainland Japan. I guess that's why there's so many American military bases around here. Anyway, you might see 2 shisa statues outside any building in Okinawa, or a whole lot of shisa statues, like in this recreation of a historical town. Some of the shisa have open mouths, some of their mouths are closed. I've heard a few different interpretations about that. Like the shisa with their mouths closed are female, or maybe male. And the shisa with their mouths open are whichever gender is the other one. The shisa with their mouths closed are keeping bad spirits out, or maybe they're keeping good spirits in. And the shisa with their mouths open are letting good spirits in, or maybe letting bad spirits out, or maybe sharing good spirits. But besides mouth open or mouth closed, a shisa statue can be in any style whatsoever. Some shisa statues are spooky and terrifying. Some shisa statues are cartoonish and silly. But all of them, I think shisa are just adorable. I love them. What I'm trying to say is, I think you and I are like statues. I mean, people might argue about if we're male statues or female statues, but statues, you can call a statue whatever you want. When you go to the doctor, share your chromosomes with the doctor. Doctors are all for science. But what we call a fishy, or a birdie, or a shisa, or komainu, or guardian lion, and which gender shisa have their mouths open, and why they've got their mouths open, that's culture. Culture is whatever you need it to be. Get well soon, America. Get well soon, Japan. Bye-bye. By the way, I've got a Patreon at patreon.com/thinkster. I want to thank all these squidlings and elder squids. Thanks.